Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Postmatch. Liverpool 2, Everton 2. Close but no cigar, as they say. Almost there. 30 seconds too late. Just horrible game management at the end. Probably a game, maybe like overall, if you look at it, probably did not deserve the 3 points, to be honest with you, from the get go in terms of the overall play. But second game, I feel like after the Newcastle game, where we should have just been smarter at the end and closed it off instead of kind of acting. Just we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the subs. We'll talk about some of the things that happened. Kazi's here, Serzi's here. We'll have all the people jumping along the way over here. Kazi, I mean, like I said, I don't think, you look at the play. Really, Everton has probably more clear-cut chances than we did, despite the possession and stuff. But these are the games you just got to close it off, man. You crawled your way back in. You got the lead. Just got to be a bit smarter. Just got to head on over to the corner, whatever you got to do, clear it better, and just play it off and finish it off.
Yeah, so bad. Like the game management's absolutely horrific. Actually, we'll get to individual performances later, but I mean, listen, we didn't deserve to win. Again, we played the occasion. Typical Liverpool, played the occasion. Something you cannot do at that ground. We did it again. We fell for it again. Well done, Liverpool. I think it was after an hour. There was 21 fouls after the hour mark and 9 shots. That's how bad that game of football was.
Yeah.
And again, you fell for it again. So congratulations there, lads. But listen, the performances, mate. Kanate, what are you doing? Both goals. Garbage. Awful. Stop it. Don't even defend him. And on the move for it. Dominic Szoboszlai, on the ball, mate. You are absolutely horrific. On the ball, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's funny. It's funny how bad you are, and that you are the captain of your country. That is the performance you can throw in. I just think it was so bad for him. And then Luis Diaz, is he our 6th choice forward now? Is that what he is? Because I don't know where he played.
I don't know, because I felt like when he went to where he should be, he was better. Wasn't he? Like when he went to the left wing for whatever 10 minutes it was more of him. Like it wasn't great, but he wasn't abysmal. Like
it doesn't mean you can't control. It doesn't mean you can't control the ball, playing out of position. It doesn't mean you can't run a bit more. Like it doesn't mean you can't lift your head up when you look. Like for example, there's that little crazy run in the second half. Doesn't he lift his head up?
Just pass the ball more. Just pass 4 people. Like
I don't know what you're doing, but listen, I'm getting bogged down with the performances because I'm frustrated. Of course I am, but overall, mate, listen, I would have, in a weird way, I would have took a draw at the start. It's just the way we've got the draw, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? It's the way we've got the draw, but it's not the end of the world being 7 points clear. It's not the end of the world with 14 games to go, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I'm finding so many parallels, Serzi, with the Newcastle game, because same thing, going away to St. James Park and getting a draw is not the end of the world, and it's not a poor result. It's just the way that it turned out to be. Whereas, like you had the 3 points, you just basically dropped it at the last second.
I'm not as upset as I thought I would be, to be honest with you. It's Everton. I mean, what did we expect? I'm more upset with Jones and Slot getting sent off, and in a weird way, I'm glad Jones showed some fight. But it's a derby game. I mean, we can pick on every one of them players and criticize the performance and so forth. It was personally, and this is coming from me, which maybe I need to get my head checked, but I'm okay with it. I just really think it's such an I can't even say the bloody word, but it's one of them games. It's a derby game with Everton. They drew in the last second. They think they've won the World Cup, and that's the black and whites of it. We just move on. Just put this game aside, move on to the next, and take it out on Wolves. It's just one of them games you can't. There's no rationality with this game at all. And we've seen so many derby games. We can't rationalize it. It is what it is, and it's. What can you say? I take it.
Just expected it to be. I mean,
pretty much, and we just have to just move on. I mean, I'll be more upset if we were 2-0 down and we came back 2-2, and we lost at the last second, but like Kazi said, cold out a day, 7 points ahead. no games in hand, that's fine. Arsenal, they've got no strikers, and there probably will be less on Saturday. And we've got a tough run in between now and the Southampton game. But, if we want to be champions, is what we have to deal with. And we just have to put this game aside. It's like the Man United game. There's no rhyme or reason for why we couldn't perform that day. It's just a derby game, and we just put it aside, just move on.
Yeah, I mean that's the disappointing part is it comes in last second, and I still argue that game should have been over. By the way, but that's Oliver for you. I mean, I overall just a poorly managed, temperament-wise, foul-wise, it's just poorly managed throughout. I thought. I mean, he kind of especially towards the end of the first half, he totally lost control. There are some cards he should give, some cards that came out too early. I don't know. I mean, in a game like this, Kazi, really more than. That's what you're managing. You're managing the temperament out there because it is a derby. It's going to be, especially like a Merseyside derby. These games. I know, to me, we always have this discussion with you. The United game is bigger and stuff like that. But these are always a lot more heated because it is a local rivalry and stuff like that. So it was a matter of management temperament. I don't think he did a good job anyway. But it all goes back to, aside from him, really should have freaking blown the final whistle a lot earlier. I thought. Really, if you look at the game overall, you just can't say that's why we lost or that one we didn't lose, mind you, but that's why we didn't win or anything like that. I just felt like we played Everton's game, and we talked about it before. We talked about it last week that was the thing not to do.
There's no lessons learned, is there, from last year? They just didn't learn a lesson. That's why I'm so frustrated with them, really, because lads, there was no surprises there. Everton didn't show up and do anything that Everton don't do. It wasn't a surprise. You played the same game last year and you did the same stuff and you expect different results, as they say. I'm so frustrated with I don't mind. Listen, the referee is the ref, and he's when you book the silly ones, it means you've got to book the ones that are 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's if that's a yellow, then I have to do that. And that's how the referee loses control of games. You've got to get the easy ones go, no, lads, this is the type of game we're having. And then when they are the 50-50, 60-40s, you can get your cards out then. But there's a couple of cheap ones in there. But I've got no excuses, really, mate, with how we played. I just thought we were so poor. I just really fell into the trap. And the manager has a little bit to answer for, I think, with the Gravenberch sub. I didn't think, I thought it was a bit on the hour. Gravenberch off. He hasn't been subbed on the hour since all season. And I felt like, by the way, when I say this to him, and here's why I'm going to counter that, back up my argument here. McAllister's booked. McAllister is literally booked.
We all thought it was going to be him, right?
On the 70, yeah. McAllister gives a foul away on the edge of our box, and I'm thinking he's gone. He's got to walk. He's trusted McAllister to stay on the pitch, and I will say fair play to McAllister. But then McAllister can't play his own game. If someone runs past McAllister, he can't drag him down. Do you know what I mean? That's what I don't know, mate. It was just a weird footy match. But these games are weird. These are no surprising games. They are weird footy matches. You know what I mean? And by the way, the Jones thing at the end, I'm completely with him. I don't mind fucking football players to do that. If another player comes over to my opposition fans, that's the one else. I say a local lad like that, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll be on the pitch trying to choke him out. I wouldn't I can't even believe he tried to push him. I would have swung for him. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, I have no issue. By the way, suspended for Wolves at home. I'm not asked. So
it's a second yellow, so I'm not too.
Yeah, but it's just frustrating. It really is frustrating, again, because they just didn't learn any lessons. And I need to go back and watch the equaliser back, but I just have no idea why Tarkovsky's on the back post 4 yards into them on his own. Where is Kostas? Where is your left back in the 100th minute of a game? Where is your left back when you're winning 2-1? You should be standing right where he's shot. But I'll have to have a look back and see.
He was in the vicinity, but I don't think we had enough bodies in the box at the end of the day. And it's literally the last ball. And I know God knows with Oliver time, but you knew it was the last. One more long clearance, and that game is over. So what are we doing? The end of the game, we just did not finish it well. And Brian, we were talking about this in the Discord right before we went. Going back to what Kazi is saying in terms of Slot and his part of this thing. We are used to more, and honestly, I would have expected more. I wanted Jota in earlier instead of Nunez, but I felt like once you have the leads, I kind of expected a more of an Endo or throwing a Kwanzaa to have one more big body in the box, because when Everton is down 2-1 and you got 10-15 minutes left, it's not going to be a build-up play or anything like that. It's going to be just keep launching it into the box, and I felt like we just didn't address that at all.
No, but I think it's good as the whole match. I think we got dragged. What I said in the pre-match, we got dragged into their game. They dragged us there. I mean, and which is the one thing I feared that we were going to do. And I mean, we can go on and on about Michael Oliver. I mean, I'm like you right there. That should have been blown early right there. It was 2 Everton players bumped their own heads. Move on right there. Go there.
Take even touch 2 minutes. I guess that's my thing. I know that's why he spent more than 5, but.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, the thing with it right there, yeah, the Gravenberch sub, kind of strange, I mean, I think we also thought that. I mean, if I would have done it, would have done McAllister for Endo, and, and then put Endo in right there just to kind of go and let Gravenberch be a little bit more freer and have Endo kind of sit back and do that holding position. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, this is one of these. I'll be so glad not to see Goodison Park anymore. How about that? I'll end it with that. I'm so done with that place right there. I've seen so much controversy, so many things happen, since I've supported Liverpool. I just don't want to see that. But they can demo that whole damn place down. And it would be okay. And I hope I get to watch it live action. Yeah, do a live action implosion right there and let everybody just go watch it and enjoy it.
I mean, listen.
Yeah, I hope they do a wallpaper. I know, Kazi, you have to leave, so we'll take some parting words from you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, lads, I'm frustrated as anyone, of course, with the way it's happened. But Liverpool got exactly what you deserve. And if you play like that and you don't create chances and your midfield's so bad and then you lose your size in midfield with the sub and stuff like that. But the end of the day is the positive is, and the lads, tomorrow when they wake up, they'll go with 7 points clear, lads. You beat Wolves here. Do you know what I mean? They just lost their number 9, Arsenal. Whether you like them or not, they've lost their number 9 out for the season. It's time to kick on now. This game's out the way. It's done. It's your last ever time you've got to go to that fucking stadium. And as I said this to the lads in the pre-match, that will be the hardest game that Conor Bradley will ever play. Like, it just will. Because it's just going to be so difficult because of the intensity and stuff. I'm not losing my head over it. You got exactly what you deserve in a football match sometimes. And that's what happened. 7 points clear. Let's kick on. Forget about it. Later, boys.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you, Kazi.
We'll bring on Salim over here, man. So Salim, I guess I'll ask you. We kind of like talked about this before. I can't remember what show it was, but it was just, I guess you can see slots in the first half, just like putting his hand in his head, like shaking his head with some of the fouls we were doing with Diaz and Robertson and stuff like that. Clearly, this was something that they talked about. We don't want to play their game, and we got to stay under control. The cool heads, cool legs ordeal. It just did not look like cool heads. We played right into their hand.
Yeah, I needed a good 15 minutes to cool down, so sorry for being a little late. Yeah. The only thing really I can think of is that this is Slot's first Merseyside derby, and he didn't know how to manage it appropriately. Not that he did like an awful job, but I think he was even taken aback from the intensity and what Everton did. It's these games are always wonky. They just are. I don't really get it, but they are. Like Liverpool's clearly better, position by position, and yet we got dragged into this just like, fist fight on the streets, and it just could have, so it's frustrating for sure. But I think Kazi's parting comments were really, at the end of the day, it's 7 points clear. Okay, could have been 9. We have 2 games the next game week, so we could be up 10 at the end of that. Overall, okay, but in the moment, really just irritated. And Tarkowski, out of all people, like, give me a goddamn break. Like,
he shot a freaking 100 times, and he just like,
he's skying that over 99 times, and just, well, Brian, I feel your sentiment, man. Blow that place up, let's move on to the next one, I guess.
I mean, Sergi, that's at the end of the day, yeah, we can say 7 points. I was literally counting minutes. And I thought we did really well the last 5-10 minutes in terms of, killing time, taking forever with the corner kick, taking forever. I thought Ali was doing a wonderful job, taking 45 seconds with every goal kick and stuff like that. We did that work, but it just feels like it's so odd that players at this level can't keep their heads in the game that long to, like Jota coming towards the middle. I know he wants to score and finish the game off. That's kind of like a striker mentality. As a guy who plays D, I'm just booting it towards the corner and hoping that somebody like keeps the ball over there. It just felt like the last 5 to 10 minutes, we just did not, we kind of lost that control and let them. And all that what they were going to do is just keep loading it into the box, and we kind of let them do it, which goes back to the defensive thing. Those balls should never be able to come into the box that easy, especially the last one.
Yeah, but it's if this happens against West Ham or Brighton, I'd be more pissed off. I just it's Everton. It's just like I said, there's just no rational meaning behind any of this. Like the players, they're just. The worst thing we could have done was like what we were saying at the pregame was play to the occasion, and we had a little bit of control, but you know Oliver being a dick as much as he is, but we allowed our players shouldn't have allowed him to make them decisions. You know, none of us are professional managers, right? But we knew what was going to happen. They're going to go down every single time, and Robertson and Diaz kept giving the referee all the ammunition that he could, you know. Stop fouling. And these are blatant fouls. Like, why are you pushing a player behind, you know, why are you pushing him in front of the referee? You've got all these cameras on you and you're pushing him in the back. Like, stop giving the referee the opportunity to you know, play Everton's game. And that's what we did. And, you know, as Kaiser said, we deserved it. I mean, personally, I think we deserve to win it. But it is what it is. I just, like, I'd be more pissed off if it was against West Ham because there's no, you know, you can like pick apart everything. Just some things you just can't pick apart. It's just the emotions of Everton, the emotions of the stadium, the emotions of the fans, and they just got the better of it. And the best thing out of this is that they come to Anfield on April 2nd, and I hope Decore shows up, and I hope he gets smashed out of the fucking ground. And seriously, I've never wanted to beat a team so much as come April 2nd. And they forget this. They've got to come to our ground. And I just want to smash them to pieces. And I see Van Dijk on his like post-match interview. You can tell this guy is fuming and he's trying to keep in control. But we know, like Decore left his mark, and so we're going to go after him.
I mean, the thing is, the thing that's frustrating is, Brian, is the fact that, you know, like some of those fouls, as much as Oliver sucks and lost the control of the game, I mean, I agree with Sergi in like Robertson's yellow. Mind you, why that is the yellow, I don't know. Pushing the back in midfield. How is that a yellow? And then when people are doing other stuff, like a lot harder tackles, that's not, like, I felt like Diaz is more a yellow, where he just like pummels the guy without even looking at the ball, rather than, but going back to what Sergi is saying, like, why is Robertson pushing a guy in the back in midfield? Like, he's going nowhere. I just felt like the guy, I can understand, like, going back to what Salim is saying, guys maybe who have not been in this game, which they probably have been at this point, because this is the same squad from last year, right? And it was more emotionally charged. I give that because the last game, Goodison and all that. I can excuse Bradley for making some rash decisions, like the tackle he did and stuff like that. But it's shocking to see like Robertson, like, or somebody like that, or like Diaz doing things that are like, dude, you gotta know better. You've been in so many big games. You gotta know better. And you've been in so many of these derbies. Leave alone other big games. You've been in bigger games. So it's just shocking to me how experienced players can still like lose their head in the environment.
This is the second match in a row at Goodison where our players lost the plot. They lost their head. They got dragged into Everton's match. This is what Everton plays every time. And I said right there at the beginning part, like the pre-match, this is going to be a slugfest, and it was a slugfest. And you just have to be the better team. You just have to keep your head above it. But like Sir Z said, they got to come to Anfield, and it's not going to be fun for them either. You know, because their record at Anfield is pretty abysmal. I mean, so hey, what comes around goes around right there. I mean, but Robertson, I mean, it's hard to come in there and why you come in there and do a push in the back in the middle field, get a yellow. But I watched come in there and Mo get taken down right on the top of the top of the box, and it was and right in front of him was play on. So there was no, and I mean, it's just typical Michael Oliver crap. That's all it is right there. I mean, it's the same thing that he does right there. You know, maybe him and Coot need to come in there and go about their own adventures on on hippie crack and wherever they do, whatever Coot does now and stuff like that, and move on right there. Because I mean, if it goes back to say the thing, and this goes from multiple fans from multiple clubs. This is the best footballing league in the world. With some of the worst officiating in the world. I mean, it happens constantly right there. But you know what? The problem is there's no oversight over there because of PGML when Howard Webb basically comes there and just does what he does. And, you know, my opinion, get rid of the PGML. Put them back to the league like it used to be right there. And then, you know, let it be monitored right there. If it doesn't work out, guess what? Got to go. You know, no, I'm going to go down. I'm going to put you down in the championship for one match or the League One for one match or something like that. No, you screwed up. You made a bad call. You're done. You're out. You no more. I mean, it's over with. So yeah, I mean, I know we brought up a couple weeks ago about bringing international officials into the picture and stuff like that. Maybe it needs to be opened up to this. Maybe that's the thing. I mean, because right now this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough at all. I mean, I'll be okay right there if you make calls right there and if there is on a 50-50 challenge and you have to go in there and say, okay, well, I'm gonna call a foul on one or the other, things like that. I can deal with that right there. But when you see blatant fouls and they're not called, that's problems, and that's something that needs to get looked at. But again, like I said right there earlier, right there, we got drawn into this crap right there. We get sucked into the Goodison Park type of into their boo boy culture, and and that's what happens. So you wind up getting into a street fight, and we got into a street fight, and it's just a perfect parting right there to have 3 red cards to basically end Goodison Park. Merseyside derby. It's a perfect thing right there for this to end. And that new stadium on Kingstock right there, it's going to be the same thing like Cosby's talking to Pre right there, where the way West Ham went to Olympic Stadium and way how Arsenal went to Emirates. It's not going to be. They're going to lose all the life that they had in that stadium right there with a brand new stadium. So you know what? Enjoy this. Enjoy it. Make a DVD like you've done for all these other little goofy things that you've done right there, and go look at your empty trophy, say the trophy cabinet that you made back in 1995. Go do that right there. You know what? Because guess what? In the big picture, you got 1 point. You got 1 point. Where's the celebration? You got 1 point, and you're sitting still not safe in still not safe in the league. So enjoy it. Enjoy your win because it's a win for you.
The bad thing is, I mean, it's going to be a lot of teams. I mean, it's going to be the same thing when they come to Anfield. There are a couple of teams where this is kind of their Super Bowl. I mean, they'd have nothing else to play for. This was their thing, right? And they're probably going to try to do the same thing when they come to Anfield. I'm sure Pickford will never stand up. He'll be laying around all over the place, killing time. But I guess my problem, Salim, is you look around, you look at performances throughout, and I don't want to go one by one on the post match, but it just felt like at the end of the day, I still, aside from that really late final whistle, and I got to go back and see how long that head injury took, but I know it didn't take 2 minutes. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's hard to put this all on refereeing because it just did not look like we played well, just did not create enough and did not pick them apart. They were able to kind of close down. Even when we had possession, they kind of closed those lines in between and stuff. And I honestly think in the first half, we forced it right too many times. Gakpo was invisible, and I don't know if that's Gakpo's fault at all because we just did not get the ball there. But it wasn't ultimately just the refereeing that's produced the result.
Yeah, no, this wasn't a classic Liverpool performance by any stretch. You kind of look across the field and you're like, who played well? And it's hard to really kind of identify anybody. So they're all 5 out of 10s and 4 out of 10s. Nobody, kind of grasped the game by the neck. We kind of talked about it at Plymouth Argyle. There was nobody that kind of took ownership of the game. And I think, Van Dijk did the best he could. I guess maybe he had a decent game, but
I honestly thought it was one of his worst in the first half, especially. I thought he was pretty rough.
Yeah, I know. But when you look across the board, it's who played well. I mean, Mo kind of did his thing, popping up at times. The McAllister goal was insane. That was that was an insane goal from McAllister. I thought there was no chance that 5'8" Argentinian was going to get to that, and it was a strange also on that goal. The commentators were like, Pickford should have got there. Pickford had no idea what was going on there. Like,
he had no idea. Yeah, I think that's the problem. He did not see the flight of the ball at all.
Yeah, so that was interesting. I don't know. I guess if you want to highlight something, that goal was nice, and that's probably it. And Mo popping up like he always does. But other than that, I mean, it's really hard to say anybody played really well.
Yeah, I mean, Saida says playing Nunez before Jota is a wrong idea by a great coach. And I honestly, I kind of agree to that in overall. But I don't think in a game like this, Sergi, because it just was like our game anyway, like pinball football. It's like somebody bring the goddamn ball down. It's like heading that way, heading this way, and stuff like that. It just was not a control game, which probably, I guess you can argue two ways, right? I don't know where you stand on this. You can put Nunez over there because it fits the game. Or you can put Jota over there and say, bring the darn ball down so we play our game. What do you make of the substitutions overall?
No, I just don't understand how people come on, they go missing for months, and then we have one bad result and then come on jumping on. Like, it's not Slot's fault. It's Jota's fault. We know Jota can't play games. He played 90 minutes against Plymouth, and I'm surprised he made it to the subs bench. So you can't. In hindsight, you can say whatever you want. Yeah, Jota, like if he wasn't injured, yeah, probably he would be a number 9 today. But we're dealing with someone who's made out of glass, so it's not. It wouldn't have made a difference. I question Gravenberch coming off, and I think it's probably one of the first times, or I can count on one hand how many times I questioned Slot's decision making. But maybe he was injured. We don't know, and we haven't heard a Slot interview since the game. But maybe he had the twins or whatever. Like we don't know. But I would have played Nunez before Jota. I think, given the fact that Nunez didn't have that many minutes against Plymouth, and Jota playing a full 90 minutes. But hindsight's excellent. You can say whatever you want, but no, it's.
I mean, heck, most of us thought Nunez would start based on the minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad he didn't, because we know he probably would have been sent off. The way Michael Oliver, and it feels like Michael Oliver was trying to overcompensate for the whole Arsenal Wolves game, and him getting death threats, and he's trying to balance whatever he's trying to balance out in his head and show proof to the Arsenal fans that he hates us as much as he hates Arsenal. I don't know, whatever it is, but we gave Michael Oliver, we gave him the ammunition that he needed. Which is stupid, and those were from experienced players like Robertson. But all we had to do is just stop giving away fouls. We know Everton are good at set pieces, but it's game, like I say, and it's coming from me. I'm over this game. We didn't lose, which is the main thing. Out of the 21 or the 15 points available this month, if we're going to draw, we drew this one. We just have to win the next ones. And just listening to Van Dijk's interview as well, saying this is Everton's cup final, and and that's pretty much what it is. As much as Everton, who celebrates a draw like that? It just doesn't make But those are the levels that we're at. That you're going to celebrate a draw that like you've just won the World Cup, and those are the levels that we're at.
I mean, yeah, ultimately that is what the levels are at too. Steve says, I know why he didn't start Scouser. I think it was more like, just not fit to play 90 or 60. I think you could best get, because I know Jones kind of like wanted off of the weekend game, and then Trent is coming back from injury. I think he only had like 1.5 practices. So I actually was shocked that Trent came in. And I'll be honest, I think if Bradley does not give a scare to Slot, I don't think he's coming in at all. Like, that was like, holy cow, this guy's like a second away from a red card, and that's why we kind of broke the glass and like throw Trent out there. I mean, Brian,
we played Scousers against Man United, and they were the two worst players on the field. So that doesn't even make, you can't. There's no rationality behind it. There isn't.
But I mean, when we made the sub, when we saw Jones getting ready, we all thought, okay, Bradley's coming out for Trent, yellow card, and then Mac is coming out. So it is odd. But having said that, first of all, we almost won the game. We're probably like great game management or whatever. So I don't want to do the hindsight thing. Yeah. But honestly, like when you think about it, Brian, I don't remember seeing Gravenberch a lot, or like seeing his name a lot, saying like, good. Whereas McAllister was still the only one who was like winning balls, putting ball back in the possession, like doing the give and goes and stuff like that. Whereas Gravenberch was really invisible, the 60 he was on in the first place.
He was pretty invisible, but even with that sub right there, I probably wouldn't even go there and actually subbed him off right there. I probably would have came to sub Szoboszlai off right there and put Jones in that position right there, because I think that Szoboszlai wasn't making very good runs and things like that. And I think that Jones basically he was ready to go. And I think that would have been a good spot for him. And what I'd probably done right there is later on, I would probably came there and moved McAllister for Endo. And I had Endo in that spot right there toward the end. And I think Kazi and I were basically saying the same thing right there. I would have done Endo. But, again, I'm like Cersei. I'm not going to keep on dwelling over this match right there. We got to point out this. I hate that place, and it's gone now. So I never have to see a match played there ever again, and so, we'll move on from that right there. But, I think, the thing with Jota right there, to go back kind of what y'all were talking about a few minutes ago, is that it just emphasizes why we need to have another number 9 in the rotation. Not to go into that whole topic again right there, but I do think that Jota not being available all the time right there, and having to manage his minutes, it just impacts our game right there. And I think that if we had a stronger number 9 in this, so I don't think you'd see Diaz up there in the front in that same position. And I think the problem right there is, like you said right there, Nunez probably as a hothead, he probably been sent off in the first half. So I think that it just tells you it's just future thinking. And again, right there, we've said many times, this isn't slot squad. So, let's see what happens right there on this right there. And again, we're 7 points clear. Arsenal go there have a couple tough matches. They don't have an actual number 9 anymore. So they have Sterling probably got to play in their front line now.
Yep.
So you think about that right there, and it's like, let's see. We put the ball back in their court. They have a 6:30 match on Saturday, and then we go and play on Sunday right there. So they could be 4 points right there if they do win right there. But we could be 10 points up on them on the weekend. We don't know how it plays out right there, but enjoy the ride. Let's go sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I'm not have a lot of hope from Leicester, aside from the fact that it's like an early game and stuff like that. But plus they didn't play midweek, whereas like Leicester did, right? They did play because they lost to somebody, didn't they? FA Cup. Oh yeah, they played United, didn't they? And they almost actually beat United. At least they had an extra game, I think, because that was on a Tuesday. But yeah, at the end of the day, I guess we are up by 7 points. I did count this all along. The game in hand, Salim, I did count this as a point. I never wanted to say 9. And that's why I was over the moon that it was 9 and like 10 times pissed than I normally am at the end of a game, because it was almost there. And the moment it was 9, especially with the news coming in, does that affect your take at all? Like, if it was 7 points with all, nothing else happening, the fact that it's 7 points and they just lost another striker for the season, does that change how you kind of look at the big picture?
Not really, because if you kind of flip it in reverse, right? If they were up 2-1 and we scored a last-minute goal, that point would be like welcomed, right? The only thing that is annoying is just the 2 points dropped on what happened and how it happened.
Yeah.
So, I think if you were to tell me before the game, hey, it's going to be a tough game, like, okay, yeah, I kind of expected that. But it will be, we'll be 7 points up at the end of the day. I'm like, all right, but the way it happened is kind of what irritates all of us, right? It's not really the 7 points. It's just the way it went down. And yeah, I really don't have too much to say about that. But, with Wolves next and then Villa, these aren't, Wolves aren't really, they're playing a little bit better, but they're not that great. And then Villa, they've added a bunch of new players, so who knows what that's going to look like. But I think we have these emotions about it because we love this team, and we see what this team can achieve specifically this year, and it's just Everton and United are just always going to be just like sore spots for us. The games mean more to us as fans, and that's kind of what it is at the end of the day. But also 7 points clear, it's mid-February. pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, 7 points, but the goal differential and everything, and the fact that they have to come to Enfield, there's a lot going on. It just, man, I find it hard to. God, it feels exactly like that damn Newcastle game where I feel like, it feels like a loss, even though it's not a loss because I felt like we had the 3 points and it was a. But again, like the Newcastle game, I feel like it was an escape, and then at the last second, one of the guards saw us. And then we got caught is what it feels like, right? Because it wasn't like well earned, but the last guy saw us at the end and we're like, damn it, I guess we're not making it out. So, but 7 points. Let's see what happens this weekend. Like I say, I don't have a lot of personal hope in the Leicester game, but we'll see how that goes. And I guess we take on Wolves. Some 4 tough games. The thing that makes it tricky is we were talking about it like the last couple of days. 11 out of 15 seemed good. Well, now you already gave up the 2, so you gotta win like 3 out of the 4 out of the next 5, like basically at least 3 out of the next 4 games, including City away and stuff like that. So, but I don't think Arsenal is winning every darn game either. So long marathon. It is a bummer overall. But thanks a lot, gentlemen, for hopping on. Thanks to all those in the comments. Give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow bright and early. I really don't think the pain will have gone away by then, but we'll see how that goes, and we'll talk about it more in the morning. Have as good of an evening as you can. Do something else. I'll probably kill some people on Call of Duty, watch something like that. Yeah, I gotta go kill somebody or kill a kid on FIFA or something like that. So,
Poor kids. Poor kids.
yeah, I would not get online, kids. Let this be a lesson.
Well, look at it this way:
Let's
Arsenal
be a
have to
warning
win.
for you guys.
Arsenal have to win 3 games, and we have to lose 3 games. I mean, even on 7 points, Arsenal, there's still 3 games.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I say, it's just the way. I think go back to Salim was saying, like the way it happened is more hurts than anything else. But have a great day, everybody. Thanks a lot again, gentlemen, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.